Sandman. This was the rave through the 70s. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. Nice colour. I got a feeling it's not original. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a house of colour like that, burnt orange metallic going through it. Very popular in the 70s. I could have owned one of these. 5 grand. Would have been green, original Sandman in the 1980s. When I was a young fella, this is the first car I ever travelled. I was a passenger. And this is the first car I ever travelled 100 mile an hour in. It wasn't, it was modified. It ran a 283 tunnel ram, if I remember rightly. It was a tilt front, extended by a foot. And yeah, it was a cool thing. Tail lights were all custom. They changed all the back. He did a good job. The guy who owned it was Cliff. I don't know what happened to Cliff. Well, I know what happened to Cliff. He stayed where he was doing his thing. I moved away. This fellow's British. Now I'm not sure what he actually is. No good for me when you're 6'3". My feet be touching the dash and my head be up here. But yeah, it's good. See, he's got the surfboards. It's the little things that make people's cars different. You know, you don't have to be full-blown money and show and stuff. Look at the engine. It's tucked in there. Okay. Boston A30. I do believe, well, in my opinion, the XC GXL dashes are nicer than probably the XBs. This one's probably genuine, so for this they have the 5.8. If it was genuine, so it runs the 351 FMX box, 9-inch 4-wheel disc brakes. Factory horsepower from these things are only like about 250 at the flywheel. In the 70s everything got cut down pretty heavily. We've got it now, Windsor. Lucy. Big tyres. Hooser, whatever they're called. SS Kragers. 32.5 window. Running the Ford. A Clevo too. This is something I could do for me if I wanted to. But I'm going to be a little bit lazy and not. Mark II Cortina. I have such a story to tell you about this thing. I don't know whether I should explain it. It's quite a funny story. Involves me and my mother towing me at the age of 16. Pretty full on. I might, yeah, tell it later. Okay, there's the story of this little Cortina. Now, when I was a young fella, when I'm talking about 16, and there was one of these parked in the paddock at the back of Cossara, a place called Nana Glen. And we kept on driving past it. So one day I got the urge to go in there, and I knocked on the farmer's door and I said, "Are you interested in selling the little white Mark II Cortina?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Would you take $150?" He goes, "Yeah." He was so shocked at it that I even offered it to him. Anyway, it was absolutely amazing. So I got my mum, give me a hand, with her boyfriend's car, a Ford XB Falcon. And this is the days when, so I'm talking, so going back here, I'm talking 1986, something like that. Anyway, so we towed the car out there. Had no brakes, the car didn't run, da da da. The main reason I brought it was because it had, it was the GXR model. Now the GXR model or GX model, it had all the fancy stuff. It had wood grain um, dash on it. It had four on the floor. The minute you had a car that had four on the floor back in those days, it was a fancy car. Most cars are all, the three on the tree and all that sort of stuff, so which means you were changing gears on the columns. So, you had a floor shift car. You got a cool car. So anyway, paid $150 for it, tied it up, boom, towed it out of the farm. It was a rainy day. It was a rainy day. Couldn't pick a worse day to tow a car with no brakes, crappy tyres, and things like that. Tyres were up, but they were bald. So anyway, we're going. And I said to my mum, if you see some hand signals from me, like, just like this, to slow down and take it easy and stuff, da da. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, we're off. So the Ford XB Falcon probably weighs, I don't know, probably shy of 2 ton. We're talking a 4-door model here. And we get at the top of the hill, and that big Falcon is just dragging me down the hill. I was freaking. I was pulling into gears, third gear, trying to keep some tension on the rope, keep some distance. I think we roughly had about 20 foot of rope distance and things like that. We still had to drive through Senator Coughs to get this thing home yet. And anyway, and I put my hand up, slow down, slow down, slow down. Well, she hit the brakes, didn't she? So, but she hit the brakes. I had nowhere to go. I just went bam right up the arse of her, smacked the back of that Falcon. She panics because it's a V8, hits the throttle in that thing, full throttle, boom, and next thing you know, that rope just goes, boom, pulls me tight, and then flingshots me straight past her. I had nowhere, because unless I was going to hit her again, the rope snaps. I go past her at about bloody 30, 40 Ks an hour. I'm going down this really, really steep hill in the wet, freaking out, trying to pull this thing up with the gears and everything like that. It would not pull up. It was slipping and sliding everywhere. Then I thought, I got to get off the road, because if I lose control, I am in trouble. I could just imagine I'd be on the 6 o'clock news or something like that. It was one of those situations. I got into the grass and pulled that thing up, and long grass, was hoping like hell that the long grass would help slow it down. Sure enough, it did. First thing we did when my mother pulled up was run around the back of that XB Falcon, because it was her boyfriend's car, making sure we didn't hit it. There wasn't a mark on it or nothing. You couldn't see that anything happened. Nothing even happened on the front of the Cortina, which was surprising too, just little marks. And the funny thing was, I ended up selling the Ford Cortina probably not that long after that. Actually, I sold it to my mum. I got it all going, got it fixed up and stuff like that, and got it going. And she drove around it for years. A little 1600cc motor in it. And I ended up buying her boyfriend's XB Falcon. Even after they parted, I probably had, in total, I've had 2 coupes, 2 4-doors, and 2 panel vans. Yeah, and right across the range of XAs to XCs. I just have a soft spot for those cars. They're cool cars. Well, there you go. There's my story, ladies and gents. XB. This one it says it's GT. Quite possibly it is. You see, with the XBs, they have the nice steering wheel, the 3-prong steering wheel, and the dash, and things like that. With the GXR, I just think it's just a bit nicer. It is nice to look at. And there's an XB coupe. Here's a car. I think they call them LS, could be wrong. And LE, something like that. Honeycomb wheels. They were the ones in competitions with the XB Falcons. Very nice. Okay, look at this thing. Big wheels, big wheels. 5 miles to the gallon. She's got the Yankee dash, so she must be a genuine import. Everyone's into these very fancy tough wheels. Big supercharger there to suck the fuel and air down. Wheelwood brakes. Looks like it runs rack and pinion. Oh, look at that extractor. So that big block there, how close it comes to that control coil, control arm. Pretty close. Very good black paint job. Very good. A quick story on the new Mustangs. So they come in 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders and V8s here when they're imported. And one thing I'll give Mustang, they said, right, we'll give the Australian, New Zealand, all the right-hand markets, probably England as well. And they converted the cars and they made a market. Affordable V8 sports car to get into. And yet the Chevy Camaros, you have to get a Chevy Camaro. If you wanted one, you can't buy it. It has to go through a conversion lot. They do the conversion on it to right-hand drive, and then that adds about $50,000 to the value of the car. So they just absolutely killed the Camaro market here. Never happened. Just never happened. Nice one. With a Holden V8 fuel injection. Trainers. Very popular in this country. Very popular. Valiants. It's only in recent years Valiants are getting respected in this country. This one's pretty tough. Good paint job. It's got all the wheels. In the 70s, they got labelled a bad name, the Chryslers, the Valiants. The bad name is they were called wild chariots. All your Italians and Maltese people and Greeks brought a lot of Valiants, which actually tarnished the name, which is an absolute shame. And there's a 4-door. Okay. Are we recording? You can't see. Yes. Running a small block Chevy. Nice interior. Nice interior indeed. Running AC. It's pretty good, pretty clean. Chevelles never really took off in Australia, not as much as the Camaros. For some crazy reason. This is a bit of a common Dodge in Australia. This is 62 to 64, somewhere in that family. This thing's pretty tough by the looks of it. Just in case for some of you guys don't know, you got that push button dash. See those little buttons on the dash there? They change your gears. My uncle had the Plymouth. I think it was 63. They're pretty rare birds, those ones. You see more of these to the ratio of Plymouths. Tube. We might get into trouble with YouTube here because, you know, music in the background. Copyright laws. You're playing music. I'm not playing the fucking music. Pretty snug, eh? I'm not sure what this puppy is. To be honest, it's not Ford. I can guarantee that. I don't think it's GM. Oh, it is GM. Actually a 32 Chev. Well, there you go. This shows you how much I know. It's pretty low. Modernised to the tilt. Look at the window wipers, door handles, all those things. Fuel cap down the back. I can see something in the paintwork, but I'm not going to say anything. You don't know what people's budgets are like. How on the day. XB coupes. They are prone for rotting out this back window because the window is so flat. So all the water sits around that gully. Dirt just went down there and killed them. My one rusted out along that seam there across that top. And then they are prone. All the Fords, water runs down there, the leaves, and they got vents, and the vents got trapped. All the leaves got trapped in the vents, I should say. It just rotted them out, left, right, and centre. And then what would happen is the vents would, even though the vents were sitting horizontal, the water would get trapped. The water would get trapped and wash over the top, wash under the floor, rot out the floor because the carpet get wet. She's all over, Red Rover. Ford Angulars. Such a little car. There you go. There's a bit of a write-up. Ford Anglers the British cars didn't do too well in Australia. The number one reason? Heat. Got too hot for the British cars, killed them. Those little radiators that they had. I mean, look at the little fella there. Even our Mark II Cortina, the heat killed it. And my mother had a 315 console, which was a bigger version of this. There we go. Morris Minor and a little tow truck. Isn't this cute? It's cool when cars have a thing. You know, it's just little things. You don't need to be a millionaire to own some of this stuff just to have a bit of fun. You know, made as cheaply as possibly as you could. Have some enjoyment. And there's a Falcon Ute XR6. Probably got the Barra engine that everyone gets excited about. Muzzies, Kempers, 32 Roadster. You always run a very tall tyre. Now my theory on running a very tall tyre is to fill that guard, because they originally had like 30-inch wheels on spokes and things like that. I don't know if you can pick it up or not, but see if I can do it. Look at that throttle pedal down there, coming very close to the wall. Limited for space.
G'day guys, how we doing? We doing well? Going good? Sam, this is Sam and he loves Gone. He's actually got tattoos.
Now this is different, eh?
Thanks, mate.
Look at that. Now you hear me say, here's something different. This is something different. Well done.